In terms of approaching the public, I think one of the most important things, something that I always recommend activists, is that they have the ability or they practice being in the other person's shoes, understanding what it's like for the other person to listen to us and to hear us and to perceive us. One principle that I have is called Yanya, and it stands for you are not your audience. You are not the audience that you want to reach. The people that you want to reach are different from you. And that's something very important to realize. It's important to realize that it's not because you watched Earthlings and you became vegan that the other people will. It's not because you find this or that argument credible that other people will. Other people may be entirely different from you in terms of like their food tastes and their education, their upbringing, and their culture and their financial capacities and their health and their allergies and so many different things. And we have to realize that. We have to realize that what worked for us may not necessarily work for other people. So the first thing I think is imagining what it's like to be them as well as we can. And then from there, there's much more possibility for dialogue. The organization I founded, EVA, Ethical Vegetarian Alternative, got government funding. I think the main reason was that we were able to present ourselves not as an animal rights organization, which the government is not really interested in and finds threatening. But if you show that, look, we're not just there for the animals, but we're there for healthy people and for a healthy planet and for more just, for a juster society, then that becomes very relevant. If you're an organization who is like more a vegan organization than an animal rights organization, if you work with all these arguments, you have more chance to get support from decision makers and from high-level stakeholders. So I think presenting yourself as an organization that tries to achieve these different objectives, not just animal rights, which is still a very controversial topic for many people, that is very helpful. So we've been working with the government in Belgium for quite a long time, and I think yes, for instance, what we introduced in by now I think 10 or 12 cities in Belgium is our campaign Veggie Thursday or Thursday Veggie Day, which is like Meatless Monday but on Thursday. There's 12 cities who have officially adopted this campaign, and so we work together with them, and we were able to show, look, if you encourage your citizens, your population, to go veggie for 1 day a week, you will this will help you meet your objectives in terms of environment and health. So what happens is that actually the city pays for the development of certain educational materials, vegan brochures, or giving vegan talks. So it's really great if you can use the resources of the local government to do your work. Which is a great thing, because you get two things in one time, because you, on the one hand, you get new resources, and on the other hand, you can reach all the public that the city reaches with their communication, etc. The videos I put out on YouTube, which are recordings of talks that I give, are, I think, speaking to an audience that wants to think a little bit deeper, does not want to like just accept all the ideas that we already have. Something I say is that thinking is vegan. You know, it's okay to think. It's okay to keep thinking. And if we just think that like the thinking has been done, then we're dogmatic. And if we're dogmatic, we cannot improve. And we need to improve because we need to get ever more effective, because there's so much work to be done. So every time we get better and we iterate and we develop new strategies and we see like, okay, this can be adapted and this can be adapted, that's a good thing. Some people in the movement like that idea that we have a relatively young movement and there's a lot to learn still. There's a lot to refine. There's new stakeholders and new strategies and new ideas and new technologies, and we have to integrate all these together and find the ideal way of working. And I'm not saying I've found the ideal way of working. The only thing I say is that we have to be open-minded, and we cannot be stuck to a certain approach. We cannot say like we have to always do it in this way. No, we have to be adaptive and flexible and look where we can improve ourselves. Gary Yourofsky has a lot of followers and a lot of people who watch his videos, many more people than watch my videos. So I think it is speaking to a big part of the population. I am not saying like Gary is more like a more in-your-face, a little bit more aggressive approach. My approach is more gentle and more soft. I'm not saying one is better than the other. The only thing I'm saying is the principle that trumps all other principles is to be adaptive, and to adapt yourself to your audience and to see like what will work best here and to follow that approach. And if I find myself in a situation where a more in-your-face approach will work better, then I will do that. So in terms of Gary, I'm sure that a lot of people get convinced by his approach, and I've seen people, they said like, I watched this video and I became vegan. I just would warn them that it's not because that worked for them that it will work for other people. It might be that the people who are vegan now, we are the low-hanging fruit, the people who it was easy to reach. And they were reachable with certain tactics that may not work for getting the next big segment of the population. We are innovators, we are early adopters, and what works for us may be something different than what works for other people. What works for other people may not be what worked for us. So we have to be open to use different strategies.